Once upon a time, a man, weary from his emotional storms, came to Gautama Buddha for advice. He was filled with anger and frustration, desperately seeking a way to better manage his feelings. Buddha, smiling warmly, invited him to sit and begin a story. "I will tell you a story," Buddha began. "Once there was a king who ruled a prosperous and wealthy country. His reign was peaceful and successful. But one day he heard about a wise ruler in a neighboring kingdom and decided to visit him to exchange experiences and learn more about his wisdom. When the king arrived in the neighboring kingdom, he was received with great honor and respect. A grand feast was held in his honor. During the feast, the king noticed a fly floating in his soup. He was outraged and immediately ordered the servant to bring him a new bowl of soup, expressing his disgust. The king of the neighboring kingdom, observing this scene, calmly said, "Your Majesty, please do not be angry. It's just a little fly, it is not that important." But the enraged king replied, "I cannot tolerate such things. Even a little fly can spoil my mood and appetite." The wise ruler smiled and said, "Your Majesty, allow me to give you some advice. It is not the fly that spoiled your mood, but your reaction to it. You have the power to control your emotions. Do not let your emotions control you." The king understood the wisdom of these words and, upon returning to his kingdom, decided to apply what he had learned. From that moment on, he began to practice the art of not reacting to minor irritations and insignificant inconveniences that had previously angered him. He noticed that gradually he became calmer and more resilient in difficult situations, which helped him make more balanced and wise decisions. The king's story is an important lesson for all of us. We often react to situations impulsively, without considering the consequences, leading to negative outcomes. Reacting with anger and frustration can damage our relationships with others and hinder rational decision-making. However, not reacting does not mean suppressing our emotions. Emotions are a natural part of our human experience, and it is important to acknowledge them. Instead of reacting impulsively, we should give ourselves time to reflect on our emotions and respond thoughtfully. Now let me tell you a story about a young man named Patrick. Patrick lived in a small town and was known for his emotional nature. He often reacted to various situations very impulsively, leading to conflicts and hurt feelings. He would get angry and say hurtful things, causing quarrels with friends and loved ones. One day, Patrick realized that his impulsive reactions were causing more harm than good to himself and those around him. He decided it was time to make a change in his life. He began studying mindfulness and meditation practices, hoping they would help him better understand his thoughts and feelings. At first, it was very difficult for Patrick to control his emotions. He still got angry and upset but tried not to react impulsively. Instead, he took a step back, took a few deep breaths, and tried to assess the situation calmly and thoughtfully. Gradually, with practice, he found it easier to control his emotions. Patrick also found that his relationships with others improved. He no longer engaged in arguments or hurt people with his words. Instead, he began to communicate calmly and thoughtfully, which helped him build stronger and healthier relationships. One day, a friend came to Patrick for advice. The friend was going through a tough time and felt very upset. Patrick listened attentively, offering words of comfort and support. The friend was touched by his attention and said, "You always know what to say. You never get angry or upset." Patrick smiled and replied, "It's not that I never get angry or upset. I have just learned to control my emotions and not let them control me. It's a powerful tool that has helped me improve my relationships and overall well-being." Patrick's friend was impressed and asked how he had learned to control his emotions so well. Patrick shared his experience of practicing mindfulness and the art of not reacting. He encouraged his friend to try these methods, explaining how they could help become more balanced and calm. Over time, Patrick became known for his calm and thoughtful demeanor. He handled difficult situations with ease, and people admired his strength and resilience. Patrick continued to practice mindfulness and the art of not reacting, finding that it brought him inner peace and happiness. The ability not to react is a valuable lesson for all of us. It requires practice and patience, but the rewards are worth it. By controlling our emotions, we can improve our relationships, make more balanced decisions, and live a fuller life. The story of the king and Patrick teaches us that we have the power to control our emotions. We cannot always control what happens to us, but we can control our reaction to it. By practicing mindfulness and the art of not reacting, we can learn to control our emotions and respond thoughtfully. It's a powerful tool that can help us improve our relationships, well-being, and overall quality of life. Let's take the time to practice and cultivate this powerful skill to transform our lives for the better. Realizing the importance of his new skills, Patrick tried to help others around him. He became a mentor to his friends and colleagues, sharing his experiences and teaching them mindfulness and meditation techniques. People sought his advice, knowing Patrick could always offer wise and thoughtful responses. Gradually, Patrick noticed that his new behavior and approach to life began to change not only his perception but also the world around him. He saw how people around him became calmer, more balanced, and happier. His ability not to react to provocations and stressful situations became contagious, and many began to follow his example. One day, Patrick gathered his friends and loved ones for a small seminar to share his experience and knowledge more thoroughly. He told them how mindfulness and meditation had helped him change his life and offered a few simple exercises that could help them in their daily lives. When you feel your emotions taking over, try taking a step back and taking a few deep breaths. Try to acknowledge your feelings and not rush to react. Give yourself time to assess the situation and only then respond, thoughtfully considering your words and actions, Patrick advised. His words resonated with many, and people began to apply these methods in their lives. Over time, they noticed they became more balanced and calm. Their relationships with others improved, and they felt happier and more satisfied. Patrick's and the Wise King's story became an important lesson for all who strive for a better life. It reminds us that we can control our emotions and respond to situations mindfully and thoughtfully. It takes time, patience, and practice, but the results are worth it. This wisdom, passed down through generations, teaches us that controlling our emotions can achieve harmony and happiness. It helps us realize that true strength and resilience lie not in suppressing emotions but in managing them and not allowing them to control us. Thus, the story of the King and Patrick reminds us that we have the power to control our emotions and transform our lives for the better. By practicing mindfulness and the art of not reacting, we can improve our relationships, make more balanced decisions, and live a fuller and happier life.